Tastes great. Are you too busy running around during the day to think about lunch? Keep your energy up with lunch to go. Effortless, wholesome meals like grain bowls and salad tapas that are ready to eat when you're on the go. No microwave required. They literally have options for everyone. If you want to make your life a little bit easier, save some time, save some cooking. Like, you owe it to yourself, honestly. Like, it is so nice to not worry about cooking every single day, honestly. And Factor does it right. Also, if you're looking for some extra protein, you can try Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. It's great. I recommend it. You owe it to yourself. Make your life a little bit easier. Head to Factor75.com or click the link below and use code IDK50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. Thank you, Factor, for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to it, people.
Speaking of stairs, when I was younger and smaller, I would climb stairs on all fours. I'd lean over and go into animal mode. Something about it just felt faster, and I think it's probably a more efficient way to climb stairs when you're little, you know? But the thing is, I only lived in a house with stairs for about a year when I was 5, so I built that habit when I was young. But then we moved to a place that didn't have stairs, which meant I never really had the opportunity to outgrow it. As far as my body was concerned, the best way to climb stairs was still like a dog. It just came naturally. So years later, when I was a teenager, I remember going over to a friend's house for the first time, and when we went up the stairs to his room, my muscle memory kicked in and I clambered up the stairs with all the coordination of a greased up baby deer.
Oh my god.
Both him and his mom were like, what you doing there?
Billy, I think we gotta send this child home. He's clearly not well. I wonder if the mom was like, oh no, he brought home a weird one. 5 minutes into hanging out at the homie's house and you're running up the stairs like a dog. Yeah, what is the final age where doing that is appropriate? I guess like 8 or 9, maybe? Because I definitely did that as a kid as well, but like, I don't know.
And sure, that's kind of embarrassing, but old habits die hard. So as much as I knew it looked weird for me to rumble up the stairs like that, I probably only had 1 or 2 opportunities a week to break that habit and practice walking like a normal person. So
we've always valued the long run. It's why our actively managed funds can help you achieve the goals you have now and the ones you're still imagining. So whether you're investing for your future or theirs, you can bring all of your possibilities into focus.
Well, here in the Midwest, we love a good side dish. Specifically me, coleslaw, made the right way with creamy, tangy Miracle Whip. Some call me a side dish, but I like to think of myself as a whole dish. Do I have your vote?
every time I went over to his house, I would go back on autopilot and continue to climb the stairs like a total weirdo.
No.
I'm not the only one that climbs stairs like that, right, guys? Guys? Okay, I'll just be over here if you need me. One time I pooped in the bushes.
You what?
Don't worry, this one also happened when I was 5. I'm not going around pooping all willy-nilly as an adult. Go over to a friend's house. Excuse me, could you point me toward your shrubbery?
What?
Well, this isn't any less weird than the other things he's done at our house. All right, pooping in the bush when you're 5, it makes logical sense. I think when you're 5, really anything goes. You can do a lot of stupid stuff. I don't know if I've pooped anywhere super bizarre though. But of all the places that are not a toilet to do that, a bush is one of the more acceptable ones, I will say.
So I was at a playground, and there was a huge bush that had this little tunnel through the middle, just big enough for a little kid to walk through. And on either side of the tunnel, the bush had what I can only describe as 2 tiny rooms in it. For some reason, the boys on the playground were taking turns going into the bush and peeing in one of the little rooms.
Oh no. Peeing? You guys think that's cool? Check this out, guys. Is that really where Tim Tom's mind was? He was trying to one-up them? That would be the only thing where it's like, okay, even as a 5-year-old, you're out of your mind.
At this point, you can probably guess the rest of the story. I needed to go number 2, and I figured that if one of the rooms was for peeing, then the other must be for pooping.
No.
I will remind you that I was only 5, a 5-year-old without teepee. This is where my memory of the situation was about as fuzzy as an analog TV in a blizzard. I don't know if I admitted to my mom what happened, or if I just pulled my pants up and dealt with it later. Either way, the whole ordeal was very uncomfortable. But at least that time, I was the only victim of my stupidity. If you don't count my mom having to put up with a smelly boy. Another time, and again, I was only 5 and couldn't possibly have known better, I saw someone do that classic magic trick in a movie where they rip a tablecloth out from under a bunch of plates and silverware and everything stays in roughly the same place. That's because of a little thing called inertia.
Oh no! Oh, the classic moment. A kid sees something on TV, they're like, well, it can't be that hard. Do the explosion. Just so you know, hey, If you see someone do something cool or impressive on TV, there's a reason why they're on TV doing it. Because they're good at it. That's why they're on TV doing it. It's incredible that certain kids have to be taught this, but yes, don't try to replicate the things you see on the TV, okay? Just don't try to do the things on the TV. That's why they're on the TV, not in the life. My commentary is really smart today, guys.
Inerta. But I didn't know physics when I was a kid, so when I tried, I failed to properly account for several variables. Here's how it went down. One of my friends came over to play, and I was excited to show off a new trick I saw on the TV, but I didn't have a tablecloth or anything to put on it, so I looked around the house until I found something close enough. The bath mat in the bathroom was kind of like a tablecloth, so I had her stand on it and yanked it as hard as I could.
Oh my gosh.
Instead of effortlessly slipping out from under her like I expected,
Did she break her
feet
teeth?
flew out from under her with the bath mat, and she slammed her head on the edge of the bathtub. And she didn't make it very long before bursting into tears. My mom rushed in and asked what happened, and I didn't want to get in trouble, so I said that she fell, which is technically true. Please don't judge me, I feel awful enough. But one of my favorite stories to tell from when I was a kid happened a few years later. One hot summer weekend, my mom installed a brand new ceiling fan in our living room. That doesn't seem important, but stick with me. Not long after, one of my friends and my sister and I were hanging out in the living room trying to cool off. My mom poked her head in to tell us she was gonna run to the post office real quick and would be back in about 10 minutes. A little while after she left, my sister went to the kitchen and grabbed a few cans of soda and a ballpoint pen. She explained to us that the rivet that holds a can's pull tab on is in the exact center of the can, and you can use a pen to punch a hole in it. So, she put a hole in the top of the can, covered it with her finger, gave it a little shake, and then drank some soda by shooting it into her mouth. It was kind of cool.
I hope it wasn't on some light carpet. I really hope this was not the color of the carpet. If a child did that in this room here, I would freak out. Please tell me they didn't do that on the carpet. But maybe, hey, maybe that's about to become relevant. Maybe Tim's about to throw it into the ceiling fan and paint the entire carpet brown.
It was kind
Aveeno Kids, created just for big kids' sensitive skin and still developing hair.
of cool, and my friend very enthusiastically tried it out for himself. But he shook his can way harder than necessary, and I guess he didn't have great aim because when he went to drink, all he got was a nose full of carbonation. When he pulled his head out of the line of fire, the jet stream just kept going. It absolutely covered the ceiling and my mom's brand new ceiling fan. My sister and I just looked up, frozen in horror, having no idea what to do. Before we could even finish processing what just happened, my mom walked in with a big smile on her face that lasted for about 2 seconds before shouting, "I was gone for 10 minutes! 10 minutes! Enough of that story is that my friend started crying because my mom yelled at him, and we never spoke again.
I mean, unfortunately, yeah, your friend has to learn to not do something so stupid. That's like the dumbest thing. That's so dumb. That annoys me so much. Man, I really hope when the time comes that I have kids, I'm gonna teach them to be not so stupid. But if they have friends over that are stupid, then what am I supposed to do there? Okay, here's the goal. Here's the goal. Make enough money that I can replace carpets and not cry about it. But still, it's the principle, people. It's the principle. What? I don't know, dude. All I know is slapperino, people. That was a slapper. Now, I'm very excited for this one because we've looked at a very similar topic in some of our Let Me Explain Studios videos. My least favorite teacher. What could it be? Clearly, Tim has a very bizarre relationship with school. So I don't know what I have no idea what this teacher's doing that's so bad, but we about to find out. All right, people, let's give this one an old rip.
I say we let it rip.
Okay, fine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go.
I've been incredibly lucky that pretty much every teacher I've ever had was great. There were a handful that I didn't get along with, but it was never anything too bad. Except in one instance. One of my elementary school teachers completely ruined school for me. Teachers are such a big part of kids' lives, and I don't think she handled my education with nearly enough care. Now, this was a long time ago, and I'm hopeful that by now she doesn't have this effect on students anymore. But I wasn't articulate enough in the 6th grade to properly express just how awful she made me feel, so I'm gonna do past me a solid and have a little rant about my least favorite teacher.
Let's
Strap in, folks! adults. My school had this program called GATE, which stands for Gifted and Talented Education. Every now and then, a GATE teacher would make their way around every classroom and scoop up the GATE kids to go, I don't know, play with tangrams for an hour.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing that I could have done if I didn't go to the gifted school. So I talked about this in a video. I forget which video it was. It was a couple months ago now, I think, that I talked about how I was a gifted child. And I was, you know, like top 3 in my, you know, like the top like 3 students from each school all can go to like the gifted kid school where they'll all be together. And I decided to do that. But if I didn't want to go to the gifted school, I could have stayed at my school and done basically this program where they take you out of your class and you do gifted kid stuff sometimes. Honestly, I wish I didn't do any of the gifted stuff, honestly. I wish I just grew up as a normal kid, but I'm weird now, so here we are.
Eventually, the school decided that regularly interrupting classes wasn't a great idea, so they created the 4-5 combo class. About a dozen kids each from the 4th and 5th grades would go share a classroom and have an accelerated curriculum year-round. The next year, that group of kids stayed with the same teacher and became the 5-6 combo class. And the next year, when the 6th graders went off to junior high, the younger kids took their place at the top of the class and a new wave of 5th graders joined. I entered the GATE program with that initial group of 4th graders, which means that I was in the combo class for 3 years. Usually, if you have a teacher that you don't get along with, you only have to deal with them for 1 year. But I had the worst teacher I've ever had for 3 years. If that doesn't deserve a rant, I don't know what does.
Yep,
Let's call her
deserved.
Mrs. K for Karen. You know the type.
Listen, I'm a key. Hey, he said it, not me. Much love to anyone named Karen watching these videos. You don't deserve these stereotypes. I do not agree with using a person's first name as like a slur. That is such a mean thing to do. I know plenty of wonderful people named Karen. That annoys me so much that that's a thing.
I've talked to a handful of kids from the combo class in the years since, and it's not like I've been scientific with my data collection, but the pattern that I've noticed is that all the girls seem to have loved her, and all the guys seem to have hated her. I don't know what that means, but I detect bias. The combo class had 2 teachers, and when we needed to split up for grade-specific things, our other teacher would take the older kids. Let's call her Mrs. A for awesome. So during the final year in the class, I would occasionally get a break from the ever-present dread that Mrs. K caused, like a glass of water in the Sahara Desert. That might be a little dramatic, but that's how I felt. And you know what? Just because you're young doesn't mean your feelings aren't real. Mrs. K was an adult in a position of extreme power. She got to decide if we could go to the bathroom or not. More than anything, it was her responsibility to be like, hey, I feel like we're not getting along. What can we do to build trust? But instead, she straight up bullied me until I cried on several occasions, spilled soda all over my copy of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and then denied it, even though I watched her and was just generally mean for 3 years.
3 years. Okay, the pouring the soda on the Harry Potter, that's just not okay. But I mean, to be fair, here's the thing, is when you become an adult, you realize you're just a kid that got older. You know, it's like kids put like teachers, and well, adults in general, but they'll put teachers on this giant pedestal of like, you are the basis of human decency. You are the decider of our fates. It is all up to you. Meanwhile, that teacher could have gone through anything the night before. They could have gotten in a fight with their boyfriend. They could have lost 10 times in a row in Mario Kart Double Dash and screamed and cried and threw their controller at the TV. It's like they don't necessarily have the willpower in their heart the next day to be like, okay, let's work on building up this relationship with Tim Tom. Tim, what can we do to strengthen our bond and create better communication between the two of us? Well, is she gonna do that for 25 students, bro? Like, I don't know. You're asking for a pretty exceptional adult. These are just human beings. With that being said, I'm sure she was mean, and you shouldn't be a teacher if you are mean. So, that being said, you know.
For example, one time near the end of the school year, Mrs. A planned a little after-school celebration. She took everyone's order for McDonald's during the day, and then that evening, we all came back to the school, ate dinner, and had a little party. Told you she was awesome. All of the kids trickled in and were sitting in a circle talking. Everyone was pretty loud, but this was uncharted territory. An empty school? Neat! So when Mrs. A tried to get everyone's attention, they just didn't hear her. But when she went to stand up and talk louder, Mrs. K stopped her. I was sitting right next to them, so I could hear Mrs. K say something to the effect of, nope, just wait, they'll figure it out. She was deliberately telling Mrs. A to be passive-aggressive. Who does that? Even as a kid, that seemed obviously dumb. So I did what I still think is one of the most mature things I've ever done. It was time for Project Get Their Attention.
Okay.
I shouted, "Hey everybody!" and about half of the kids looked at me. Now, as a kid who grew up pretty poor, I was always told to pay attention to how much things cost when I ordered food at restaurants. I was keenly aware of the fact that Mrs. A had just spent at least $40 $1,000 to buy nuggets and burgers for the entire class. I said something like, it's cool that Mrs. A took everyone's favorite orders and brought us all McDonald's. Not many teachers would do that, so I think she deserves a round of applause.
Yay!
And when half of the kids started clapping, the rest joined in and started paying attention too. I love it when a plan comes together. Then I said something like, now we need to be quiet so Mrs. A can pass all our food out because I don't know about you, but I'm hungry. I don't think Mrs. K appreciated being shown up by a literal child, but maybe that wouldn't have happened if she wasn't deliberately being passive-aggressive.
Yeah, Mrs. K.
Howdy, Mrs. K!
All right, that's a very interesting moment in time. I don't know if that's really a moment that shows how evil Mrs. K was, to be completely honest. It honestly seems like you, grew in that moment. Honestly, that was some character development right there. But, I mean, to be fair, yes, if you're a teacher, yeah, communicate what you want to happen. Definitely the approach of, yeah, let me just say nothing until they do the specific thing I want, and then everything will fall into place. Yeah, that's not how you do it.
One time I wrote a story about how a kid was having a bad day and their teacher made it worse by being petty and mean. I wonder where I got the idea. This wasn't for an assignment or anything, I just wrote it for fun. But when I was done, I was so excited that I had finished a full story that I showed it to Mrs. A. But Mrs. K ended up reading it too, and it was pretty obviously about her, which she didn't like.
Ooh.
Instead of doing the responsible thing and using this opportunity to see things from my perspective,
Bro. Oh my gosh. He is expecting these teachers who deal with children all day to just be these stoic monks. Tim, I saw this unprompted story that you wrote about how horrible of a human being I am that I didn't ask for you to write, but you wrote anyway and I was forced to see it. I just wanted to know, what can I do for you? Tim, that ain't happening. That ain't happening, boss. This is a jaded, grizzled adult, bro. They don't want to do that. Again, don't be a teacher for little kids if you can't be patient with kids.
thing and using this opportunity to see things from my perspective, and perhaps taking a moment to think about what she could do on her side to build some trust and form a healthier and more productive relationship with one of her students, she got real mad and called a parent-teacher conference.
Oh, man.
So my mom and I sat down with her one day after school, and she went through all of the things that really concerned her.
no.
But it was clear that she was just personally offended for being called out. Luckily, my mom was like, yeah, I don't see any problem here.
Get
There
him,
was
Tim,
something
Mom.
that happened that my friends and I didn't handle well. But instead of talking to everyone involved and maybe teaching us how we could have handled it better, like a teacher is supposed to, Mrs. K chose to humiliate my friend group in front of the entire class. There were about 6 of us who had become pretty close friends. Basically, we'd always hang out at recess and ask each other really deep philosophical questions like, wouldn't it be weird if milk was green? But then we'd realize that it wouldn't, because if milk was green, then that would be normal. White milk would be weird.
Wouldn't it be weird if shadows were green, Tim? Could you imagine if shadows were green, bro? Tim clearly is no stranger to making things green that you wouldn't expect to be green. So milk, is only one, an arm's length away, you know what I'm saying?
Because if milk was green, then that would be normal. And white milk would be weird. Whoa. One time I used the phrase personal space bubble, and someone thought the word bubble was particularly funny for some reason. I can't remember exactly how it happened, but it became an inside joke, and before long we ended up just calling our group The Bubble. But it turns out that names are a powerful thing, and after a few months, the entire class knew that we had one, and they wanted in. We never set out to be exclusionary. It was just an inside joke that other kids overheard. So when someone who none of us knew very well came up at lunch and asked if he could join the bubble, it was like, that's not really how this works. He just wanted to make friends, but it was a question that we hadn't even considered, and for lack of a more thoughtful response, we kind of just awkwardly told him no. That rejection really upset him, especially after he must have worked up the courage to come ask us in the first place. So he went, crying, to Mrs. K. Instead of-
Oh, no! And this horrifying smile! Oh, no! Wow, I never thought of it that way. Guys, if you and your homies want to seem cool, give your group a name. But be chill about it. Don't, shove it in people's faces. You gotta be chill about it so that it spreads through word of mouth. Don't go saying, hey, we're the IDK stands! No, okay, not that.
Hey, we're the goofballs. We're the squad. We're the circle.
Don't scream it from the mountaintops. This has to spread organically. Anyways, let's see what horrifying things this Grinch of a woman is gonna do.
Instead of taking us aside and talking to us about what happened in private, she called us out in front of the entire class. She said something to the effect of, "I've been hearing all about the bubble for months, and now I understand that you're going around and telling kids that they can't be in it." Then I'll never forget that she pointed at me and said, "I'm popping the bubble." What does that even mean? She didn't talk.
Oh, wow! Ooh, wow, Mrs. K.
Howdy, Mrs. K.
She thought about that one all night. She was in bed, like, oh, I know what I'm gonna say to these kids to really ruin their day. Pop the bubble. Ooh, wow!
No, I won't let you.
I bet there are kids who heard that who were like, whoa, that's so cool. But then, like, any adult is like, Mrs. K, you are a loser.
What does that even mean? She didn't talk through things with us and set reasonable expectations. She was just like, yep, I popped the bubble. Problem solved. If she had taken the time to understand what was really going on, then she could have helped us work through a better way to handle it and set a good example for the people. But no, she singled us out in front of everyone and set a terrible example. Now how am I supposed to be a good person?
Yeah,
Sorry
hard.
for getting so mad.
It's hard. It's hard to be a good person when Miss K comes through, pops the bubble. Miss K, my advice for you, go outside. You know, after work, after school, go outside, look at a tree, realize, hey, everything you think is a big deal probably ain't that bad. Probably ain't that bad. Maybe watch a couple Robert IDK videos, you know? Lighten up, learn to chill, learn to laugh. You know what I'm saying? Popping the bubble. You can't pop the bubble. The bubble never pops, bro. You can't pop the bubble. But you know what you can pop? You can pop over to Tim Tom's channel and make sure you are subscribed to him because he did all the hard work on this video. I was just the guy being silly. But yeah, make sure you check him out. Here's the last time we looked at Tim Tom. If you missed that video, make sure you check it out because it was so much fun. Here's a video that YouTube thinks you will like. I will see you here or I will see you there. Thank you for watching my stuff, people. I will see you very soon. Peace.
This rainbow leads to creamy, sprinkled brownie delight. New Hershey's Rainbow Brownie Kisses candies.
I've decided to swim the...
Well, well, well.
The day has finally come.
The channel that we have watched for 4 years finally has its very own
Movie.
My Story Animated, also known as MSA, has a movie!
Ellie the Hacker, MSA first mini-movie, 15 million views, 34 minutes.
I need to stop doing that voice. We are looking at Ellie the Hacker, the first My Story Animated movie. What does that mean? That means it's a 34-minute long video, and it's all one story. Now, I think the thumbnail for this is absolutely terrible. I don't know what happened here, but I do not want to click on this thumbnail. I just have to. All right. Are we serious here? Are we serious about this? Are you joining me? Are we about to watch the MSA movie for real? Because I am. And you know what that means, friends. If we're watching MSA, you know what time it is. Yeah, I'm gonna just say it right now. Theme song.
Animations, it kinda feels like I'm on vacation when I see a bit from MSA about a girl who's gone completely insane. But we'll still laugh and scream and cry and be glad that we don't have their lives. So come along, enjoy the ride, and let's watch some MSA tonight.
My thumbs flew over the controller at lightning speed as I battled my coworker Andy while everyone else cheered from the sides.
How did you get that level up? Where have you learned these moves?
From the deep, dark corners of the internet, my friend, and I'm about to own your butt. With that, I unleashed my final secret move and blew up the enemy. You're a loser, I'm a winner, your mama's buying me chicken dinner. Suddenly, there was pin drop silence, and I turned...
My friends, today we are gonna check out some animations on one of my favorite topics, one of everyone's favorite topics.
The entire world.
Our sweet little friends, cute little animals. That scared my baby. I think that scared my baby. If you've watched this channel for any period of time, you know that cute animals melt my heart. If a cute creature comes on screen, it's game over for your boy. We're gonna be checking out some of our favorite YouTubers' videos on their pets. The Odd Ones Out, Jaden Animations, and last but not least, Animations! All all of these wonderful people have some great videos all about their pets. And so we are going to explore their experiences with pets, and we're going to talk about our own as well. Starting with number 1, the odd ones out, our hamsters. I am really excited about this video because I know a lot about rodents. I'm not a hamster owner. In fact, I'm a little bit different. I am a muffin owner.
Isn't that right, Mr. Ralphie? Isn't that right?
Ralphie, over here, buddy. That's not getting him quite to the door. Check this out.
No, okay, that's not good.
There you go. There you go. Oh my God, you're bursting at the seams now.
You're bursting at the seams.
Everybody, this is Ralphie Dos Nachos. Okay, you want one? Oh, and there's Mr. Mouse.
There's Mr. Mouse.
Oh, take it, bud.
And here's Ralphie Bear. Mr.
Come here. Ralphie Barrington. There you go. So they're gonna be munching away while we check out their relatives over in Hamsterville. Robert IDK, the odd ones out, hamsters. Let's go, people. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, just a heads up, don't get too attached to any of the hamsters mentioned in this video. Because they're all dead. And I would say that no hamsters were harmed in the making of this video. Well, I mean, no hamsters were harmed while I made this video. They're all still dead. But some hamsters, they got harmed. Just keep watching.
What?
If there's anything I've learned that the internet just loves is stupid drama and cute animals. So I'm going to talk about all the cute hamsters that I've enslaved. Our family enslaved quite a lot. It was my twin sister who really wanted a pet hamster and bugged my mom to get one. And my mom, being super nice, bought her the cage, and we bought everything else, including a little black hamster. We named him Squeaks. And he liked to do this really cute thing where he put all of his food in his hamster wheel, and it was made of plastic so he could do that. And then late at night, he would just run in it, and it would sound like...
Aw, that is cute. And very strange. Who wants to stand on their food before they eat it? Is there any culture where, like, at a 5-star restaurant, one of the meals is like, yo, corn do stand? Corn that you stand on? And anyways, yeah, not relatable.
Isn't that right, Muffins? Okay. Okay, Muffin Bears. Mr. Ralphie. Mr. Mouse.
It was like a more annoying maraca. I actually made a comic on paper inspired by this hamster. Wow, you got a hamster? Yeah, but he doesn't do much. Well, yeah, this type of hamster is nocturnal. Really? That means I'll hardly notice him. And then at night, he's trying to sleep, but the hamster is loud, and that's keeping him awake. And the joke is that he said he'd hardly notice him, and he's noticing.
Yeah, you notice.
It's not that funny. And I need to tell you about a dog that we have named Georgie. And actually, a little fun fact about Georgie. She was born on Election Day of 2004, which is a much cooler holiday to have a birthday on. It only comes once every 4 years. It's like leap year. It's more rare. So since George W. Bush won the 2004 election, we named our dog Georgie after him.
Really? Why? Wait. James, who in your family named this dog Georgie after Mr. Bushington? You should have named your dog Bushington instead of Georgie. Well, I guess, hey, all respect to Georgie, I'm just saying, if you're gonna name him after that guy, just a thought, maybe stick to the Bushington.
Aww. And that also means that her 12th birthday was on the 2nd. I definitely won't be able to get this video out by that time, but still. Happy birthday to you. Yay! So Georgie can get the birthday, because it's her birthday, and Poppy can get the girl, because she's the girl.
No.
Do you like it? I wonder if this tastes good. Oh.
Are they eating it or not?
Anyway, back to rodents. This dog just loved to murder these animals. Well, I don't know if murder's the right word. No, murder's the right word. You have to understand that Georgie is a West Highland Terrier, and that breed is known for hunting small animals. So having Georgie and a hamster in the same house doesn't mix well. We had this little plastic hamster ball that we put Squeaks in sometimes. The first time we put Squeaks into his plastic ball, my older brother bowled him like a bowling ball.
No!
The infallible concealer lasts all day, covers everything, and literally doesn't crease.
I was vegan for a week, and Georgie thought it was a treat just for her. A treat with a hard outer shell and a juicy middle. She would go straight up rabid wolf on that hamster ball. We didn't put Squeaks inside his hamster ball anymore after that. But there's even more to say about this hamster. One day, me and my sister came home from school, and Squeaks was just gone. He escaped.
Oh, no.
Everyone check your pockets! We looked everywhere and we couldn't find him. We had to keep a close eye on Georgie at all times. My sister put up missing posters around the house. I don't know if those
around the house. Oh, that's that's so cute. Missing posters around the. Oh. George is just like, oh, I'm so sorry. You can't find Squeaks. I haven't seen anything, but I'll keep an eye out. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that happened, guys. Guys, I would never let you around a ferocious beast like that. Never, ever. Never around a ferocious beast.
My sister put up missing posters around the house. I don't know if those helped. We made these traps out of Duplo. Did anyone else's parents